Okay. This or that, pre-SIHH edition, or SIHH in the favored French. Audemars Piguet, Royal Oak Offshore. This one, the new Khaki Green ceramic and beige dial 44, or the Vacheron Constantin overseas dual time, both released pre-SIHH. Let's go with the AP first. Audemars Piguet, Royal Oak Offshore. They're calling this Khaki Green. I tend to associate khaki with the color of that dial, but I'm using their nomenclature. So AP, have it your way. Now, 44 millimeters, stainless steel, ceramic bezel in green, really quite good looking, and the first AP use of green ceramic. This one has a strap that I have to say looks rather aftermarket, kind of like what Horace Straps has been doing for a few years, but I'll also say that may be a good thing, as the aftermarket usually fills in product and service gaps that manufacturers fail to recognize, so AP may be getting a little bit ahead of the game with this strap here. Okay, manufacturer caliber 3126, 50-hour power reserve, free sprung, full balance bridge, very tough. It's driving a vertical clutch, chronograph module, quick set, hacking seconds, 100-meter water resistant, diver strap in camouflage. Now, this watch, we don't know quite what it's going to cost, but it's a reference 26400 SO, and that reference already exists, albeit with different color ways, if you want to use that current phrase, in the catalog. The current 26400 SO costs $33,400 US. Yeah. Josh, hold your fire. Okay. Vacheron Constantin, overseas dual time. This is technically reference 7900. Came out a few months back. 41 millimeters by 12.8 millimeters thick. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner than the AP, but just as big and boisterous. It's actually rated to a higher water resistance, and it's more anti-magnetic. Quick release lugs includes a leather strap, a rubber strap with the stainless steel bracelet, so you get all three with this quick release lug system that you can operate with your fingertips. Now, 60-hour power reserve, Geneva hallmark movement. This is Geneva seal caliber 5110 DT, beautifully executed for once the dual time has an in-house caliber, and you can see it. Finally, 29,500 US, so undercuts the AP by a few thousand, but Josh, I don't think that's going to sway your heart. Tell us why.
Yeah, well, okay, so the second gen, I think, is really the one to get when you talk about the overseas, okay? And we've talked about this third gen, about their price points and things like that. But I have to say, the execution, see, the idea, this watch on paper, the dual time is fantastic. The second gen dual time is fantastic, but the execution just doesn't cut it for me. I mean, I like the fact that you can do the swapping out of the straps, but that cuts a lot of the aftermarket stuff out, which I guess you don't really do that with the second gen anyways, but I always like getting aftermarket straps, just something I like. Also, something about the dial just looks off. Like, I think that the arrows are a little bit too large. It's just the proportions are a little funky. It looks like almost like toyish, or like a circus watch to me. Obviously, probably a better made movement. It probably wears a little bit nicer. It's a 42 as opposed to the 44, which personally I'm going to wear better. But if I have a chance to get an Army themed AP Offshore, we're going for that. Okay, and on the market, if you were to get one of these khakis, for sure this is going to hold much more value, without a doubt, than the VC. I mean, there's no question. I mean, green ceramic, super freaking cool. And, you know, AP has been releasing all these really cool novelties. I don't know if this is going to be limited or not. Have they decided?
I don't know just yet, and I have the pre-SIHH press material, and they haven't clarified it there either. I don't think so.
You don't think it'll be limited? You think it's going to be a regular production piece?
I do. I don't see any individual numbering or mention of individual numbering. So, well, I mean, to be continued.
Everything seems to be limited at AP these days, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we're an authorized dealer, right? Yeah. Exactly. We're an authorized dealer, and it's not. We don't get, you know, a great allocation. I don't think anybody does, and they're constricting. You know, they are trying to sell as many watches out of the boutique as possible. It's a great strategy for the brand, of course, and you know, for value retention, you know, controlling distribution, as we speak about all the time, is the best way to do that. This watch is super cool. It's going to be polarizing, of course, so I'm hoping that's going to be limited, and I assume it will be. But for this or that, AP, without question.
Yeah, guys, there's limited, and then there's effectively limited, and in pure terms of supply and demand, there will be a wait list for that watch. I'm going to say that, for me, I like the Vacheron, but here's the aesthetic limitation of that watch, and I think I've finally pinpointed it. Unless we're talking about the chronograph, in which case the loss of the Grand date really hurt the aesthetic, I feel like the lugs taper too much. Like the junction between lug and bracelet looks too asymmetrical. The lugs space out too much and taper indecently to a bracelet that's a little bit too small for the case width, almost in the form of the Rolex Deep Sea Sea Dweller, where the bracelet is a wonderfully made piece, but it just doesn't appear to be spaced broad enough to deal with the sheer shoulders of the watch to which it's joined. Otherwise, I think the Vacheron wins on engineering and value, but there's no doubt. AP for style, flair, invention, and resale value.
I want to say it's funny. If you see how polarizing this watch is. In our comment box, I see a comment that says that AP is horrible, and just below that, that AP is sick. So that's kind of what you're going to see with a watch like that.